You know, we could go for days, share with me.
I would be happy to. What we have here, this area, whole area behind us is called the Focus Exhibit. Everything we have in here will change because you have to bring new items in and take the old ones out, replace them to
Keep
put
it
them
fresh.
in stores, keep it fresh and all this sort of thing. This is something that will change also quite often. Even though there's not a lot of exhibits and pieces in here, it's called a focus gallery. We're going to change themes from time to time. And what this theme is here is thoughts about Lincoln, misconceptions and mysteries about Lincoln. For instance, we have here, was Anne Rutledge Lincoln's first love? These are the sort of questions that visitors often will ask. And there are also questions there are no easy answers for. And so we then will show some of these questions from time to time because we know visitors will ask them. One behind me back here was Lincoln racist? Because again, his time was wrought with all these sort of slavery and non-slavery, and there was also, even when you didn't have slavery, there were areas where blacks were not allowed. What was Lincoln's view on these sort of things? So this is called a focus exhibit. You might also say, what's also cool about this is that this area also is allowed, the other curtain comes the other way, and we can close these up. So this area, whole area downstairs here, can be used to, we can actually move the cases, and we can have the area for like speakers or new items or a panel discussion. So this area actually can be used for more than just showing off items. It can be used as a showcase for bringing in events as well.
Wow, a lot of forethought in this.
Yes, there was, which I can't claim to have that forethought because my mind is limited, which is why we had a lot of creative minds behind this. So this is really, really cool. I wouldn't have thought of this myself either.
Collectively, it's quite the addition.
Yes.
And let's continue.
Please do.
Ron, connections with Logan County. Can you expound on that for me?
I would be happy to. It's interesting because, again, Lincoln was very important to this particular area, Central Illinois and Logan County in particular. We have a unique story to tell. And in designing this museum, we consulted a lot of people. And I was thinking, on one hand, do people who come in from New York really care about Lincoln's role in Logan County? And so I asked a New Yorker, Harold Holzer, who's written 43 books on Abraham Lincoln, should we do anything like that? And he said, absolutely. Because the reality is you tell a different story, and a unique story that nobody else can tell. And so what we wanted to be sure we did is concentrate a lot on Lincoln's role, not just in Illinois, but in Logan County. So this particular panel here shows Lincoln's association when he first came in as a surveyor, and to Postville, to Middletown, to Atlanta, to Cornland, to Mount Pulaski, to the city of Lincoln, all around the area where he went.
And 3 beers.
Absolutely, you betcha. Why not? So we're proud to claim Lincoln as one of our own. He spent a lot of time in this county. We like to trumpet and emphasize that. And so we're really excited about how we were able then to bring Logan County to other people to say, hey, this is important. This area is important to Lincoln.
You're doing a very good job with that. So can I see some more?
Absolutely.
Okay. We're with Ann Mosley now, and we're in, what do you call this room?
This is our vault. It's pretty much where we store all of our hidden treasures that don't get to go on display for the museum visitors who come through the Lincoln Heritage Museum. And this is where we do a lot of conservation work. But we also like to give our artifacts time to rest before they go out on display. So there's a lot of things happening in this particular room.
Okay. And can you show me some things? Tell me the reason the lights are off first.
Well, the lights are off in this section because this is where we store all of our artifacts. And the less amount of light on them, the better, because a lot of these artifacts have been in the light, in their cases, on display, and they've come in contact with lighting, the different air that comes through, in and out when visitors come in, and they've also been kind of out in the atmosphere, so to speak. And so when they come in here, this is a safe, secure area where they get a chance to not have the spotlight on them for so long. So it gives them time to rest.
Okay. And then things are just cataloged, or, so when you have a new display, it comes from this area, it goes to the case, what's in the case comes back to this area.
Mm-hmm. And they're all organized. And each one of these units that we see here, they roll back and forth. This vault design was actually designed by Space Saver, an amazing company that helped conserve a lot of the space we have here in the vault so we can store more items.
Okay, can you show me how they move?
Yes. These units are run on a track system, and all you'll need to do is take hold of the lever and end up pulling it. And so each unit moves with this particular system. Now, say that I wanted to not just move this unit, I wanted to get to, say, unit 4. All I would have to do is push it together and then move this unit.
Oh, wow.
So then we can get to each unit and not have to have the individual who's coming in to do research, say they're from Maryland, New York, and they only have this afternoon to look at a particular document. We have them all cataloged in past perfect so that we can look them up, find out exactly where they're at in the vault, go to that exact unit, walk down the hallway, get the item that they were looking for to research, take it to the research room, and they're able to look at it this afternoon without having to wait weeks to look at a particular item, which is really neat.
That's good. That's real good. Thanks for sharing that with us. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And now, Ron, we're upstairs. And this is still in the construction process, correct?
Yes, it is. Very much in the construction process. Though I would say this is the last leg of the construction. What's left to do is a lot of the lighting, which is unfortunately why we can't go and see everything today. It's because a lot of the lighting is still being worked on. But the upstairs, as I said earlier, has a lot of immersive design features, a lot of audio, video. And so what people are allowed to see when they come upstairs is to walk through Lincoln's life, hearing some of the voices that he heard, using real quotes that people said, or real quotes that Lincoln said himself, and we hired voice talent to have those words, as well as pictures that Lincoln himself may have seen, pictures of people, pictures of things that were around. And so it's almost, I think if Lincoln were here, he would say, I recognize that, oh, I remember that, oh, I remember her saying that, oh, that's cool, I remember that. And so that's exactly what we want, is to put the person in the place of Lincoln back then.
Awesome. So what area is this?
Right now, we are in the 1860 area. This is the Lincoln is elected area, the 1860 campaign and the run for presidency. Behind us, we have a lot of pictures, again, people Lincoln associated with. And, you know, as I alluded to earlier, again, stories of people that made Lincoln president, the history stories. And so we hear about Judge David Davis, which we hear about here a lot, Leonard Swett, or William Herndon. And these are people that got Lincoln where he was. The man would not have been elected president in 1860 without the people that he met in Logan County, McLean County, and Sangamon County. So we hear about the stories that these people got Lincoln elected. He had established these relationships, he'd formed these political alliances, and these were the things that made him elected president. And as well, so not only do people hear about these things, that there's a lot of touch points. For instance, this is a piece of wood representing rails, which were cut up in 1860 at the 1860 convention in Decatur, the Republican convention, when they brought in rails. And they said, Lincoln, didn't you split these rails 30 years before? And Lincoln scratched his head thinking, well, if I split these rails, I could have done a much better job. And people thought, whoa, that's great. And that they erupted in cheers, and they said, let's sell these rails for souvenirs. So this represents the story of that particular campaign. So when people touch this piece of wood, then they hear the audio of that particular story. And so it's a way, again, to encourage people. Yes, we encourage people to touch things here. But also then it's a way to get kids to get into it and hear the stories and see the pictures and really get into history.
Yeah, that's just going to like totally bring the kid out of me.
I think, yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
Imagine that. And we did wander through, and even in the dim lighting, we were able to see a lot of, there's just so much interactive here.
Yes, yes.
That you actually become and feel like you're a part of the event itself.
Yes.
We've got one more point we can look at,
sure,
right?
We do, yes.
Would you share it with me?
Absolutely.
Thanks. And Ron, is this where we would begin a tour?
Yes, this is the museum experience upstairs. This is where it begins. People will come off the elevator, and this is where it all begins. And what's interesting about this, and the creative approach that Taylor Studios decided to take, was that people are introduced to the upstairs design experience at the end of his life and not at the beginning. And so when people come in and they see a Ford's Theater, if they know anything about Lincoln's life at all, they made the association that's where he was assassinated. And so it already intrigues people, because I think when people go into museums, the last thing you want them to do is expect what they're going to see. You want them to expect the unexpected, because that gets the buzz going, that gets them coming back thinking, man, I need to see that again because I missed something. And so when people come into the upstairs experience, we have a countdown to make sure we don't have 10,000 people in one room. We sort of flow them through. This is why we actually have a countdown to the next show. But also it serves the purpose of the next show, thinking, what's the show going to be? And so it gets their appetite whetted before they go into the museum.
And then how long would that show take?
In there about 5 minutes, but we're going to give about a 10-minute interval to get traffic flow through.
Just to keep it moving.
Yes.
And let everybody go at a leisure pace.
Yes.
It has been fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing this with all of us throughout the county. And as you go along further, can we come back and do some more?
I would love you to come back further. We can show you a lot more. And I think, again, when people see what's going on here, they're going to want to come themselves as well.
You betcha. So catch us again on the Logan County Herald.